showed you before, I'll go over here, that I showed you before, and then you can even look for something other than the chip bit.
I thought really.
Right, so you can kind of, what does it run on Windows as well?
Yeah.
You can even, do this. That would be ready because the one I'm using now, I told you, like, they're not updating it anymore, so they didn't update it to the YouTube. So even now, just go ahead and try to find with, YouTube. Okay, how we doing with this? This is okay, this is live, and this is live. We're all live. Okay, where's the roll? Is that going around? Where is it? Okay? And then be so kind at the end, bring it back to me. Okay.
I don't even remember at this point. I'm just over it. I don't care.
See what I'm using right now? See this MSN recorder? So it'd be nice to do it in a way that it'll work. See if we can do it in terms of timing, or when I press stop, it just stop and then go up. Or see if we can do a timing like every, almost make it like a loop, every 2 minutes or something like that. But you can know what's
That's so funny. So, do you live here or you visiting? I said both.
how long do we want it, and then just upload, so you can upload small clips.
He was like in the middle. I remember him. Yeah. I was like, it was so old. I was like, how? Yeah, that's why I didn't order it. It's probably not worth it. You get it. It's like that.
All right, folks, welcome back. I'm going to set up here. Let me see if I can get my laptop. You know, we always have issues, right? There's issues of issues. So, this is only our second class, but we have some new people, and we'll find out about the new people. And we'll also talk about what we have in terms of where everyone is in terms of their projects. And then we'll proceed. This is today's date, Monday, January 29th. What we'll cover today is collaboration. We'll also look at some automating tasks. And we'll do an introduction. Of documentation. And what we call agile development. what I mentioned before is that we're gonna eat our own dog food. And what does that mean? We're gonna try out new technologies. It's not always going to work, but hopefully it will. And what's important, that you do the assignments. If you don't wanna do on a regular basis your assignments, then it's not the section for you, because you'll be called on to participate, and you're expected to have done it, and if you have issues, you have to document your issues. And we'll talk about what do we mean by documentation and how we can do that. So as we're going through this, we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about collaboration in a global environment. We just don't collaborate with ourselves, but many times we collaborate with others, physically here, and also in different parts of the campus, different parts of a city, different parts of a state, different parts of the United States, and globally. And we'll look at those as well. So what I've asked you to do is look at some collaboration tools that will allow you to do what? To collaborate, I want to be able then to work with more than one, more than two people, right? And I also want to be able to think about the idea that not only can I record, but I can archive. So I am going to use, for broadcasting purposes, what? Does anybody know what I was using last time? Alex, you remember what I was using last time?
The which part?
For collaboration.
You're using YouTube Live.
YouTube Live. So I'm using YouTube Live for my collaboration, and I'm broadcasting and trying to do it for every class. So I'm going to go to YouTube, and then from YouTube, this is my channel, DRS Rushy, and I'm going to go to Creator Studio. And in Creator Studio, I'm going to go to Events. And from Events, it tells me my upcoming events. And in this case, do I see today's date? Right here, 1/29, 6:30, and you see here where it says BackTest 2.0 Info Systems. So I'm going to start a Hangout. And I'm going to say Start Hangout. I'm going to say, it says Broadcasting. Your Hangouts on air will now be broadcasting to YouTube. And I'll say OK. I click OK. I share. Right? And I'm broadcasting. And I have here a link. And I'm going to copy that link. And at this point, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go to Blackboard. And I'm going to log in. I have my Kane ID and I have my password. And this is great because it's easy for me. What's the problem in security-wise if somebody goes onto my computer?
Access to all your stuff.
Yeah, I have my ID and password. Don't you love it? I love it that I have it. But next week, you put in your notes, we're going to have the, what's next week? What's the date for next week? Anybody know?
29.
No, next week.
The fifth.
The 5th. The 5th, we're gonna have the Chief Information Security Officer of the University of Miami come in. So we'll talk about for security, and I want her to help us in making sure that we're all safe too. So I'm gonna say sign in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Okay, demo labs. Let me do that now. I'm gonna. Okay, let me do it and then I'll kind of do that. Demo. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. So, everybody see that demo labs at gmail.com. We'll do something else with that as well. Okay, so I have I'm broadcasting live. So now what I need to do is go to Blackboard. I'm going to go to Blackboard, and what section? I have all these sections here, all right? So what section should I go to for that I have user role, you have student role? Everybody hear my question? What was my question?
Where the teacher was student.
Where I have instructor role, you have student role. You see all of these? I have a lot going on. Which one?
The first one?
The first one, meaning the first one where on the very top?
No,
Where my mouse is, right? BTE 210KX. Do you all have that? Who does not have that? Okay, so we have BTE 210KX. And I want to go to course documents. And in course documents, I have something called class podcasts, right? I have Monday, Wednesday, and let's do another one. Let me go to web link. And what's today? Monday. What is it? January 29th, right? 2018. And I have this link. What is this link here? Everybody see that? And what do I need to submit? I have this link right here. I have in here the description, right? And then I submit. So how do we know it works? What is that link for? Yes, your name?
Andrea,
Yeah.
it's to your podcast, to what you're streaming.
Okay, and did you click on it? What do you get when you click on it?
Brings you to YouTube.
Brings you to YouTube and what's happening there.
Here's your video.
See the class live?
You can see the class live. It'll be should be delayed, but you can see the class live. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to eat my own dog food too, because my research is trying to use technologies to do what? To get closer to the customer, get closer to the client. I want to do what? I want to increase my revenues and do what? Decrease my costs. And I want to be able to do this at the lowest possible cost. And the cost of this is how much? The cost of this software? Zero. So whatever I get in addition, and look at this, we hardly have any more seats left, right? So in this case, and I was encouraging you, right, that we wanted to have a small class. But what could I do? Basically, if we thought about it, a business model is what? I'm broadcasting live.
Again.
I have limited seats, and then what? Blank.
Infinite, like, viewing.
I could have infinite viewing, right? I could have up to 10 people in this one to participate as ones, people asking questions. So I could even do a business model. One is to do basically like a MOOC, right, a massive online course. I could have one where students had to be at conferences or had to be other places could join in, and others we could even have a 2-point scale. Some that want to get credit for it pay one fee, others that want to audit it can pay another fee. There could be a number of different models that you can do it. And what I'm sharing with you is not only education has to be disruptive just like an Uber, right? That there has to be on-demand different ways. People learn in a different way, right? That a lot of times you need to be more active. So this is what I'm trying to do is doing this. Later on what I'll show you is, remember I talked about last time's SEO? Everybody remember that? And what do you remember about SEO? What does it stand for? Search engine optimization, right? So in search engine optimization, what I want to do is if I go, for instance, to, right, I had my YouTube here, right, and if I wanted to search, right, let's see here. Let's see if this works. If I type the word BackTests01, one meaning the first week, what do these look like? Do these look familiar? A-Rush's live broadcast 1.3, now air open. You see this, now air open, A-Rush's live broadcast. And if I click on this, let's see what it is. See this, Jesse? Right, but if we click on this, and this is the entire class, for an entire class, and then what I've done, in general, informed users tend to get more value from whatever technologies they use. So if I looked at that question, Allie, what do you think, and it was true or false, what do you think, is that true or false? You want to read it again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Should I read it out?
Yeah, read out loud.
In general, informed users tend to get more value from whatever technologies they use. Isn't that true?
Okay, so in this case, how do you think you could find it then? If I said show more, then I could see then true. I could see then why should I use study information system, the difficulty, if I wasn't sure, it tells me where it is in the book. And then a combination of your high school grades, application essays, letter of recommendation, and SAT scores would be considered information. So in this case, then, Alex, what would the answer be? You want to read it again?
Sure. Combination of your high school grades, application essays, letter of recommendations, and scholastic aptitude test, SAT scores would be considered information.
Okay. True or false?
False.
Okay, why? And that's the key. It's easy to guess true or false, right? The whole idea, what I'm going to always ask you is what? Who cares? Is the why. Because it's depending on what you see. A lot of times life is not just a true or false, page 23 to solve it. So the question is a combination of high school grades, application essays, letters of recommendation, and
I guess would be true then.
true.
It's all-
Why?
It's all like different forms of like
Information versus what?
data.
Data, right? So if at that point, then we can see here true. It says that was an easy question and so forth. So what I'm trying to do in terms of automation is what I want. And if you got some of those wrong, the idea would be then you would view that video. That video right now is how long? How many minutes is it?
Hour and 40.
Hour and 40. I don't want to listen to myself again an hour and 40 minutes. Right? If you did one time, that's okay. But that's not exaggerate. So this is what I want to do, Jesse, is I want to get small clips. So if I have my screencasting program here, I can record. You see this, Blake? What I could do is I could then record. I want this automated that I don't have to do that. I'm gonna record, I'm gonna say record here. It'll be screencasting, and then when I'm gonna do maybe a minute, describe the difference between, let's say, data versus information. What's the difference? Information is going to be meaningful. The data is going to be individual topics or individual concepts. And what is information for one person can be data for someone else. And then at that point, I would end that clip, and then it would be, you see this, Jesse? Then it would upload to the YouTube each time, and it would then just take small clips of the concepts I do, and the questions, everybody understand? The questions then would only apply to that video. That's my goal. And my goal is that I don't have to spend so much time doing the stop and record, and it can be automated in the background. So there are programs, those of you that are interested in it, that's what I would like. That's my desire here. Rather than taking that hour and a half or 2 hour video that you have to go through, I want to attach only those additional questions besides what you have on your quiz, give you more quiz questions to practice. That's my idea. That's what I think education should be, is you ain't having the times when you want to do it, review, and come to see me when we're having issues. And we'll discuss issues that are not so straightforward. Let's not waste our time on straightforward issues. I always said you guys can read. Some of you can read better than I can, right? But the idea is, where are we going to have issues and how we can proceed. So that's my goal here. So those of you that are interested in that, in pursuing that, it is the same thing, that there's something that I found that's called JITBit. And JITBit is what they call helps desk software that does not get stuck. It basically is a way in which it is a macro recorder that it will record all my keystrokes, and all I have to do is press a key and it will do it. It's just like a macro recorder. So macro recorder, the best, what they call macro recorder program that will record my keystrokes and play them back, and then I can use programming to modify it if I need to. What is your name again?
Brittany.
Brittany, and that's what I was talking about last time, is that you can do this where you see here, these are the commands and the keystrokes, and then I can just play it back. So, then, now, screen, and in this point, now all I can do is I can screencast, but in this case, when I record, I can then screencast and I have to do it manually. Yeah, so I'll talk to you later. So then I need here, I have the class podcast. You see here of these that are put in. Questions. So now, I'm going to go back to, yes. Okay, let me just give you my watch to Jesse. Jesse, can you do me a favor? Just go out, take that phone and just talk to Dr. Rush there. You can just go and then just give me your phone and then you can set it up. Okay. Okay, so now here, I got here in the class podcast, I'm here, and I'm here in Blackboard. Okay, so now, I have now the audit area. Oh, let me go to our regular one. Let me go back to KX. And I'm going to go to close this in, right? Go out. And I'm going to assignments. You have here in assignments, Anyone have problems in finding their grades? Who's done the assignments already? Okay, so in the assignment, can you go to your grade center, your grades, and see if you have the grades? Are they listed? Everything's okay with the grades?
Doesn't say what's out.
What? Pardon? What? What? Do you have a question? Do you have a question, folks? So what was your point?
You didn't put,
What?
you didn't put the assignment out of 10.
And what's your list?
No, it's not, it just says, if you write like out of 10.
Oh, don't worry about it. You got it. Okay, for the 10 questions. Okay, you have the assignments? Yes.
What is it due?
It was due today, but since we've had a lot of movement coming in and out, it'll be due next week before class. Okay, all the assignments. What? I'm going to add new ones. Okay, I'm going to add new ones as well. Okay, yeah, I will. But anyway, it should be chapter quiz 1 and quiz 2. If I want to add an additional one, for instance, on the hardware.
Are you adding the TG part too?
What?
Which one are you adding?
I haven't checked. Okay.
I made another one on Blackboard.
What?
I made another one on Blackboard. On this one.
Yeah. But you don't have access to
No,
it.
it's correct.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
worry. Okay. It's too confusing already, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I have quiz 1, I have hardware, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip the software and I'm gonna go to security. And how do I get to security? To make it available. Do you see security on your end? No, so how do I do that? What is your name? Marcel. How do I go about doing that? To make it available. Who can help Marcel? How do I go about doing that? Yes, Ellen.
Click it?
Click what? I'm going to click this little button on the side, and what am I going to do? I'm going to edit the test options,
And then make it available.
and then I want to make it, at this point, I'm going to go down, right here, and I'm going to say open the test, make the link available. I'll give it, since we're doing it right now, I'm going to give it multiple attempts, and I'm going to do 2 attempts rather than 1. Is that okay?
How about 3?
2 is good enough. Okay, it's open-ended, right? So we're going to do 2, and let's not get greedy, okay? And then I'm going to submit, so what should it be on your side?
It'll be there. It'll say.
Well, it will be, it's supposed to be there, right? Doesn't mean that it will exactly be there, no. So, but it is now. And that's what we have to do each time. Everybody with me? Each time when I do something on my screen, you have to check on your screen, because we can leave for a week or we can leave for 2 weeks and we don't know, we didn't get the proper feedback. Because I have the role of what? What's my role? I'm the role of instructor. You're the role in this section of student. Now, where's my role? Are we sitting on it? Let's not.
No.
See, that's why we also want to check, right? If I haven't gotten the roll, you knew a roll's coming down, you want to check, and we want to check and recheck. Okay, so we got that. We don't want to just sit on something that's big packed. So it says success, I have this. Okay, I have this part. We also, for those of you that haven't been here, is the other part is you have the syllabus you can check, and then you see the assignments, and then you have the course documents. And then you also have web links, and among the web links here, you can see for the student resources. And then you can see here on the web links as well. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Would you be able to put due dates on the assignments?
I will be doing due dates once we
Figure it out.
once we have everybody's
it's like,
response.
it's like.
But usually the due dates of the assignments are, when I assign it, it's the following week. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah. But you see here, we have almost like half the classes in and out. So for the first couple of weeks, we want to make sure that we have everyone that's going to remain here. Otherwise, there'll be opening and closing and issues. But I do appreciate it. But you can think about it. Usually what I do is I'll give an assignment to right before the next class. And even if you don't have it, you have some issues with it, you still want to upload it in your audit area and even jot down and document what were the issues that you had. And then we'll go the next week and the next week to resolve it. Because what we're doing on projects, there's something called agile development. And what does agile development mean? And what do I ask you to do? Just sit here? What are you supposed to do? When I say something like agile development, what is your name, my dear?
Brianna.
Huh?
Brianna.
Brianna. Have you heard of agile development? No. So if you're given that problem, what would you end up doing?
Google it.
Yeah, that's what I want everybody to do. So let's go. No. You're thinking I'm just here to entertain you? You're entertaining me too. Right? There has to be a mutual thing of entertainment. Okay. So who can raise their hand and tell me what agile development means? Let's go. What is your name?
Me?
You?
Priscilla.
Priscilla, did you find it? Well, that's what we're doing, right? And what is your name? Next to Priscilla.
Estela.
Estella. So help Priscilla. So what do we end up doing? We got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Agile
Thank you.
software development.
What? So speak out loud.
So agile software development describes an approach to software development under which requirements and solutions evolve through the collaborative effort of self-organizing cross-functional teams and their customers/end users.
Okay. So first of all, we want to speak up, right, Priscilla? And what did we see? We started the word collaborative, right? What else? Who else can add to what agile is besides being collaborative? What did you find? Brittany, what did you find?
That
Brianna, yeah, what did you find?
I found it said refers to a group of software development methodologies
Methodology, okay.
based on iterative development.
Iterative, meaning what does iterative mean?
It happens
Brit-
again and again.
It happens again and again. Once we do it, so put a note in your way that iterative means that's going to happen again and again. And if we think about automating something, if something happens over and over, is that good for programming? Yes, because we can then program that as a task. So I know that I have iterative, right? And what else? And I have collaborative. And what else, Estella?
It advocates adaptive planning, evolutionary development, early delivery, and continuous improvement.
And continuous improvement. Adaptive. So put in your notes here. Adaptive, continuous, collaborative. What else, Stella?
It encourages rapid and flexible response.
Rapid and flexible response. So what does that all mean? That if you're going to be developing a project for an enterprise or for yourself, what does it mean that it's going to be? What do we want it to do? Who can summarize? Brittany, what does that mean to you?
That, like, for example, your screencasting one, it can be collaborative, and then when you have the little clips, then it's iterative.
Right, I'm going to do it. And what else does it mean? That when we work in groups, what does it mean? That if somebody gives basically you're trying to solve a problem, you're working, let's say, with me as an end user. I have a problem, this is the end user, and I give you instructions what to do. Will we agree 100% the first time out? Will you even understand completely what I have to say?
Probably not.
Probably not. Am I able to articulate exactly what I need? Probably not. Can you wait and we can get back in 6 months to a year and you'll tell me what you've done? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
It does. In this type of economy and things that are moving so quickly and you're going to have to do a program for me, I'll give you instructions and I said, you know what, Brittany, come back in 6 months or come back in a year and show me what you've done. What do you think the problem is with that? too long of a process. By the time it's 6 months, a year, I don't have that problem anymore. I may not even be working here anymore. You may not even be with the company anymore as well. So it's too long. So what agile development, and anybody knows what agility means?
Quick to change.
Agile, quick to change, quick to move. And think about all these companies, right? In this digital economy is what? That you have to move with the trend. I have a competitor, I have to move, right? I'm doing things that I need to move quickly. In order to do that, I need constant feedback from both ends. And you need to be able to work in groups, short periods of time, and seeing what everybody in your group has done and what they've accomplished, and then go back to the end users and say, is this what you want? So this whole, do you understand? Traditionally what it's been in software development and even hardware development is we give a problem and in 6 months, a year later, we come back to the customer. And you know what the high percentage of failure is? What do you think? Pretty high. So what it's changed around is everything's moving so quickly is agile development. So that's what I want you to work in your groups is agile development. When I'm giving you a project, I want you, do you understand that, Priscilla? Is that you work with the group, and how can you work with the group? You can collaborate with some of these tools and say, okay, Priscilla, and Estelle would say, what have you done this week? Right? Or what did you do yesterday? Give me that small task you've done. What is the issue here? What's the problem? How can I help you? Or where can we get more help? And then we'll resolve it. And then I'll look at it and say, you know, this is not exactly what I want. Or this is exactly what I want. How do you know? Beautiful. Everybody sign. Okay. Wow. Got a whole crew here. Okay. So, given that's the case, I'm going to go to your audit area. And I'm going to the audit area to show you how we're going to work. I'm showing you each time the methodology that I have in teaching you, and I have the methodology in which you are giving me feedback and working together. That's what we're going to do today in looking at methodology, and it's called what? Agile development. Because we're going to work. So where do I want to go now in order where you are the instructor? People are looking at me. Where do I go here?
The audit.
Audit. Now I have a lot of audits. Which one am I going to here? KX. Okay, so you know I have an audit for my other class, by the way, which meets on Wednesday at the same time as this. And this Wednesday, I'm going to have a guest speaker coming in at 7:30 that's going to talk about blockchain. Anybody hear about that? Who's heard about blockchain cryptocurrencies? So those of you, I think my other class is less full, but I thought this was less full. So I think there may be those of you that want to join me for that. I'm giving you an open invitation. So they're going to talk about blockchain. We'll talk about it in this class as well. Blockchain, crypto, currency. So I'm going to have a guest speaker that he's been working on in the past 5 days, and as a matter of past 5 years, and he's basically trying to make a career out of this. He was a journalist, and he basically said, you know what, I'll advise other people on blockchain and crypto. So some of you can get that as well. See if maybe what you can do in Agile and work with them. Okay, so I'm going to go to KX. And where do I want to go? I want to go where? I want to go to course documents, and I want to look at my groups. Okay, so if you look at your groups, first of all, what I'd like you to do is notice our group numbers here. We're going to have to, group Raphael and Way. Are you here still? Yeah?
My teammate dropped the course.
Okay, good, so he dropped the course, so you can take on new ones, okay? So Wei Ling, when you're going into that, right, Wei Ling, so he dropped the course, so in this case, what I'd like you to do is we'll put you on the top, you see this? Where I'll be able to go here, I'm gonna go up, right, in group 1, I'm just gonna move, you see here, you can move up above group 1. And group 4, everybody can move themselves to a certain area. But in this case then, Wei Ling, did you do your homework?
Yes.
So in Wei Ling here, you did a screencast, and what did you do for the screencasting?
Screencasting is called automatic.
Okay, screen-o-matic?
No, it's O-matic.
O-matic, okay, now let me give you a hint. Okay, everybody put this in your notes. You see here, he uploaded this, and if we did this, what's the problem when I look at this? We're doing agile development. What's the problem is, what I'd like to see first, when somebody uploads, who was telling me about their having problems with uploading their homework and asking, what I'd like you to do is whenever you upload, what I'd like you to do is what? Put your name on it of what you upload, because you're in a group. So write this down. So we want to have name. So I want to have your name on what you've uploaded. What else do I want to have? I want to have your name, and I also want to have the software program name. And I also want to have usually the URL, how I can find it. And also, probably be good is just a small pros and cons. You got that? Wait. So the problem is there's no place here. If I go to the side here and click on it, you see here, there's no, and I say just edit, you see here it's just the name, and it says open a new window or an alignment, so I'm going to cancel it. If I go to build content and do create file, that's what I have. Everybody put that in your notes. When I create a file, all I can do is put the file name on it. And that's not good for our groups in terms of giving them feedback. And that's what you did. One thing is good, and that's why we're saying it's an iterative process. We start one way, and then we basically give each other's feedback and try to improve it. So, and guess what, Way? Everything's easy when you know it. And next week you'll know it, so it's no big deal. So, I'm going to go back, and what I'll do instead, right, is I edited that file, right? I'm going to cancel this. And instead, I'm going to go to item. Everybody see that in item? And in item, what's the difference? I can put the name, I can put text here. So just put in your notes, whenever you upload, use item rather than file. So guess what? Next week, when you deal with your own group, when you're going to have team members, right, you can work together, and then it'll make more sense on not only you can give them the assignment and let them know what they need to do, and you're already a group leader. And one of the things that I want you to learn here is how to be good leaders, how to give feedback, how to give performance, because that's what we're going to have to do, okay? So make sure then that you upload as an item. So then when you're going to do it, you're going to do it as item. Okay, and then I'm going to cancel here. And then collaboration, what did you use as collaboration? You see that? I have to bother to ask you. And if you could tell me, and what are you using?
Skype.
Skype. Okay, so he's using Skype, and who did you Skype with?
Actually, I don't have anybody to Skype with.
Right, so now he doesn't have anybody, he doesn't have a group, right?
Yes.
So collaboration, but even collaboration, you know what? Even then when I'm doing it, collaboration with yourself is good too, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna document what you do, and sometimes you'll collaborate, and if you document it and you screencast it, right, you could then give it to your team groups, your team members, and say, this is the assignment, this is how you do it. And you don't have to spend a lot of time. Okay, so Skype, what's the advantage of Skype? Skype is easy, Skype is free. What's the disadvantage for collaboration of Skype? Who can tell me?
A limited amount of people can do
A
it.
limited amount of people can do it. Can I share a screen with Skype? Can I broadcast with Skype? So it's good in some, and the ideas of one is not bad and the other is good is basically having a tool, basically a set of tools and using the tool when you need it. Skype is really great, just like FaceTime, right? It's easy. I'm going to go, I see the person, I can do it, I can not do it, and so forth. So what I'll ask you to do for next week with your new group is find something in which you can collaborate, something that you can record the session. So you want to look for collaboration that I can record and I can archive. What does that mean? That we can record what we've done. So anybody that's been in groups before, who's been in a group before, right? When you work in groups, and one of the problems in the groups is sometimes all group members are not there. Sometimes all group members don't do their full share of work. This way, we record each meeting that we have, and we don't have to worry about it. You know, at the end of the semester, guess what? You know, if I work out at the wellness center or something, and then when I see students at the beginning, you know, after the end of the semester, they'll come up to me, and I think they're coming up to me, giving me compliments, saying hello. They usually come up because they don't like their grade. And guess what? In all the years that I've been here, I've never had a student come up to me and say, you know what? You gave me a B, and you know, I really deserved a C minus. I've never had that, you know, where somebody has told me that, you know, they really deserved a lot lower grade, and can I switch it? It's usually the opposite. And one of the things is I said, you know, your peer review group, you know, said you didn't do anything in your project. And then one of the things is, well, I did a lot, right? So the idea is if we can document and show it, just because my, you know, my group didn't like me, right? That's not the issue here. It's the idea that we have documentation. So that was the key that we have here, okay? So did that help? Wei?
Yes.
Okay, so we got that for Wei, and then we have the written comments. The idea of a lot of the written comments, then we can do a lot of it at this point, and then we can go under. In this case, we could even do a folder, right, and put all our collaborative work. Okay, so I've done that first group. Group 3 is Priscilla, Estella, and Alexandra. Do I have all three, or just two?
Two of us.
Yeah, I don't see them.
Okay, we don't see who? Alexandra.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you have two people, so then you can then have an extra person, right, that can join your group, okay? So in this case, we have it, and I'm going to go into group 3, and see here also, Wei, where I'll be able to see a number of programs. When you have more than one person, Wei, you can make a folder and have collaboration program screencasting. So what do we have here? Estella, and Priscilla. Either one.
Zoom, we did that.
Okay, so you did, so I go, and already I have Zoom here, and in terms of Zoom here, collaborative program, pros, free, straightforward, cons, not live. What does it mean, not live?
Like you can't broadcast it.
Okay, you can't, but one of the things is, sometimes what you can do is you can use another program to broadcast and use this, because Zoom is what? Zoom is pretty easy, right? And it's really clear, and you can get the collaboration. So some of you that want to look at it, Zoom has gotten good vibes here, which we have it. Okay, and what's the other what screencasting programs did you use?
I use Omatic.
Okay. Okay, beautiful. So you see here the difference, Wei? I'm picking on you, but other people, the idea when I pick on Wei, it's going to be applicable to every group, right? Look how nicely they gave their name, right? You gave the part. Another thing is sometimes you can do it, and then you give the pros and the cons, okay? And then you give the attached programs. Very good. Okay, so we got that part. We're okay, and we're into group 3. Group 3, what I suggest you do is move from 1, move down to 3. Okay, group 4 then, and then change Wei, we'll change it. Okay, group 4, Philip, William, and George. Where are they? Okay, how many do you have here?
Philip dropped the class.
Okay, Philip dropped the class.
Switched to Wednesday.
Okay, you're right, Philip switched to Wednesday, and what about, and, okay, so you got those, okay. So then you have an extra person too. Okay, everybody understand that you have an extra person. We have group 4, and what did we find out? Collaboration software, what did we do?
We Skype.
Okay,
When you put the pros and cons.
okay, so one of the things here is I suggest you guys go back for next week and find something other than Skype as well. Leave what you have, but just add on to Skype, okay? And what's the screen recorders you use?
I used OBS.
Okay, so the same thing here, on this, do the same thing where you can do just like I told Wes, okay? So, and then that George, I guess, we'll keep his name in, there, and then we have William, and then Philip, we can take out and put someone else. Okay, I have group 5, right? Group 5 is Alex, Griffin, Blake, and Cole, so what do we do?
For the collaboration, we use TeamViewer and screencasting, Screenomatic.
Okay, okay, and how did it work out?
It lagged a considerable amount.
Which one?
The team.
TeamViewer.
Okay.
TeamViewer.
So, and which mode, okay, and so you may wanna do for next week is see if there's another, for that lag here. What I do like about TeamViewer is that when somebody has a problem, you can get into their computer. So basically you can say, hey, let me try it out for you, and you can give them permission to look at their computer. So TeamViewer is good to have, and then what else is here?
Those are the Screenomatics.
Okay, okay. And you only use one, and what is this? And Cole, what did you use?
Same
Here.
one, Screenomatic.
Oh, Screenomatic.
Yeah,
And then
not
I-
just a file, not a, like if you go to build content,
If I go when?
go on the top to build content instead of it being
Oh, okay, so you'll change it, no big shakes, right? So you can change it, okay? And I would look even to see of others that you can do, okay? So we got that. I don't want to spend here, and what else do I have here? I'm going back, and I have group 6, right? Allison and Alex, do I have you? Okay, I'll be back here, okay, all right, so what's up? Quickly.
We filmed on Screenomatic how to make a YouTube live video,
Uh-huh,
and we found that Screenomatic was very easy to use, it was very intuitive, and it was easy to post to YouTube from Screenomatic at the end and publish a video,
okay.
and YouTube Live was.
Okay, so this recording is YouTube Live, or this recording
No, it's
is?
Screenomatic showing how to use YouTube Live.
Okay, and did you do a YouTube Live?
Yes.
So maybe put your link up to YouTube Live as well.
Okay.
Okay, so you can even do that now, you know what I mean? As we're doing. So even those suggestions I'm giving your groups now, do it now. Why waste our time? Okay, 7, it's what do I have here? So, Lindsay, and let's everybody do it, that it's just easy, like in one line across. Just seems to be, you can change that too, just like group 5 did, you know, where you have, or the others where you have, you know, your name, your email, and your phone. Let's do that and then change that. Okay, so Lindsay, Faith, and Frankie, where are you? Okay, so what do we got? So we got everybody in the group, nobody dropped yet, huh? Okay, for this week. Okay, so what do we get? Okay, so the same idea. So what I would suggest, go back and make yourself folders. One for collaboration, one for screencasting, okay? And then collaboration, you see here, Lindsay, where I don't know what you did, right? And then we can do it. So same thing as I told Wes, okay? Yes, no? You got it? Please give me feedback.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it? Okay. Lindsay, and then Brianna, Brittany, and Brian. Wow, these are the 3 B's, my 3 B's. How are you? My 3 B's, okay. So collaboration, right? So what do we do? Who can tell me?
We did Easy Talks, which is like a screen collaboration.
Okay, same idea. Let's put it in a way in which we can talk about the pros and cons. So add that to your group.
We put it like in the video, I guess we talked.
Yeah, but also put it so it's easy to,
Like to read.
just to read too, you know, that when somebody's looking for another,
Thing, you don't have to click on it.
you know what I mean, you don't wanna do it, and then once I'm interested, I'll go into it. It's like attractive, does it make sense?
Yeah, no, it is.
Perfect. So everybody understand what I'm going to in my course, and individual screencasts. I did the same thing, so what's this Grunts 8-Power Rec, what is that?
That's Dave Power Rec, the program.
And Grunts is you, or what?
That's me, yeah.
Oh, okay. So same idea, so let's put it in the text that we can do it, and Brittany, the same thing, Sil. Also, tell what it, you know, it runs on Windows, it runs on Mac, it runs on both. Another thing, which is interesting, something that's called on premises. On premise. Cloud. Sometimes we can basically think about that I can save to my device. Cloud means that what? There's a server somewhere. It's just like my Facebook, right? That everything is being stored in the cloud, not on my machines. It's the same idea with the cloud versus that I can save on my machine. And then sometimes, what's the advantage of saving to my machine or to my device? What's the advantage?
Can use it without Wi-Fi.
What?
Can use it without Wi-Fi.
I can use it without Wi-Fi. I'm in a hurricane, right? I don't have Wi-Fi access. I can have it. Sometimes I can transfer it easily. I have possession of it. So sometimes I have an extra copy. So put that down because sometimes you want to be able to save to your location, your device as well. So where it saves naturally. Okay, questions?
I just had a question, like as far as for the new students, like do we choose what groups we go into?
Yeah, so let's do that. So we'll do that in a moment. Okay, so do we finish? Let me just finish and then we'll do it. Okay. So that's why I'm checking right now. So those of you that have your members that have dropped, eliminate them from them and then we'll go back to see. That's exactly what we're doing. Thank you for reminding me. I didn't forget you. Okay, so group 11, but this way you get to see what you need to do for next time. Okay, I've done group 11? No. So what do we have in group 11?
We all screencasted us doing the, what's it called? Like the group monitoring thing, individually, and we uploaded it.
Okay. So do the same thing, right? Make separate folders, screencasting, collaboration, and within it, do them as items and not files and do the pros and cons. Everyone do it. But you have everybody,
Yeah.
everybody's here. No, we're happy with each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so let's summarize. What did we learn? Stella, so what do we conclude from this? That we want to be what? That we want to be a way in which we can document our work, that not only ourselves can see it, also to remember it, but that you can share it with others. And notice here, we're not even, you know how the one group is 3? It could be like a whole enterprise. You could be just working on one part of that project, right? You may be working on the social media part, and this group may be working on the front-end development part, and another group can be working on the marketing. So you're going to be able to work together individually as persons, and within your small group and in the larger group. And then you can, and it'll be easy. What role do you have is you have instructors. Okay. We're good so far. Okay. So raise your hand if you are new to this section. Okay, so let's start. Well, we've got a lot. Okay, so let's start on this end right here, back here. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
So introduce yourself, tell me where you're from, tell me your major, and tell me your work experience, and what kind of work do you have with technology, quickly. And then everybody can see how we can help each other. Yes?
I'm from Kuwait.
Kuwait, okay.
Finance and entrepreneurship major.
You're a what major?
Finance and entrepreneurship.
Finance and entrepreneur. Wow.
Graduating May.
This May. Oh, so this was your last class. How'd you delayed this to the very end, huh?
I'm a transfer student
Oh, you're a transfer student. Okay. And you're transferring from where?
from the engineering school.
Oh, from the engineering school here. So what kind of programming background, and what kind of engineering did you?
Industrial.
Industrial, and what kind of programming? Have you had programming in industrial?
C++, just like
C++ a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this case, then we can basically, we have, so which groups need to have, so who need, Wei, you're ready, you have someone that you can do it, you can pick him up right here, you have a group right here, so you can work with him. Okay, who's next on that last row, that whole last row, yes?
My name's Cole, I'm from New Jersey, entrepreneurship major.
What is entrepreneur? Nobody used to be in entrepreneurship. Now everybody is an entrepreneur. Okay, good. We're going to be entrepreneurs in here too. Okay.
What was the last one?
And the last one, what experience you have with technology work?
Work experience. I worked with the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
And technology, like I guess everybody else is.
Okay. Next. Okay, so Wei, you got another one right here. Okay. These two, then you work with Wei at the end. He'll put you together and you'll put the group in, then you add them to your group. Yes, next.
My name's Andrea. I'm from Switzerland.
Switzerland.
My major is entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneur too, wow.
Uh,
And you're transfer or you're exchange or you're here?
I'm sophomore. So.
Oh, you're sophomore, okay.
And my work experience was with the telecom company, and then with the jewelry store.
Okay, okay, and your native language is then French, German?
Where I'm from, it's German and Italian, but I moved to Paris, so I only speak French.
Okay, so we got French too, so that's nice. So basically all the French now are going. Okay, so in this case, can I have him then incorporate with you, the guy? What is your name again?
Andrea.
Andrea. So right here, this couple right here, I didn't mean it in that way, okay? That I'm just saying these two, a couple of people, right? They're already blushing, okay? But they knew each other from before. Okay, all right, okay, so you know that. Okay, who in this back row? Yes.
My name is Brian Barker. I'm an economics major, and I've done internships with Anheuser-Busch and Dunkin' Donuts, like at their corporate offices.
Okay.
And I know a little bit of Java.
Okay, that's good. All right. So Estella, you're missing?
Yeah, what two?
Two. You see these couple, right? I'm calling couples right here. This couple right here. They're two people. We're not. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. My name's Danny. From New York. I'm a finance major. I worked with Citibank last summer, internship, and
What did you do?
I'm like trying to be an investment banker.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So we'll do some fintech. Okay.
Yeah. And my technology experience is pretty basic, just like
Okay. So who needs in terms here then? Okay. So we got the 3 Bs, and then who else are we missing? Who else doesn't have? Who's now less than 2? Group 4, right? Where's group 4? Right. So you can be with them. Okay. Who else on that back end? Okay, this row. Who's new? Okay.
My name's David. I'm from North Carolina. I'm a health sector management and policy major, and little coding experience.
Little?
Little.
In what? JavaScript. Okay, that's good. So we'll be doing that. Okay, so who needs another? Who's less than 3? What other groups? No? Yes? Or in this case, so I have here in groups, and then Priscilla, you have them, and then Raphael then is here. Okay, so we have 1 here. Okay, who else? Who else is new? You is new. Okay.
I'm Jessica. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a marketing major. I've interned with like small PR consultancies.
Okay.
and I know Java.
And you know Java, great. Okay,
My name is Xi, and I'm from China.
okay,
My major is economics.
okay.
I can make some videos.
Okay, you do videos, great, okay?
I'm Marcel from Philly. I'm an international marketing and finance major, and I know a little bit of C++.
Okay, so let's do this. All those people then will be a group. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what we'll have then is, Brittany, you want, how many, Brittany, is help them get up and running in terms of putting them in the group. So you'll be a group and Brittany will put you up into the system. You see how the collaboration works? And then later on, depending on our project, we'll use people with different backgrounds. We'll look for our finance majors to help our other majors. We'll help with the entrepreneurs that say, hey, what kind of ideas do we have? We'll have some of my programming people work with my programming. And that's the way we can search them out. That's why I want, now everybody can do that, is switch it, right, where everybody can have their groups, and then let's put them in the correct, you can put them in the correct order. Are we missing now? What group are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so in this case then, make yourself this group then 7, like group 10.
Yep.
Make yourself then 8, and group 11, my group 11. Make yourself 9, and then my new people, you make yourself 10. Okay? So you can do that as we proceed. Everybody with me? So you can switch that now. Change it now. Why waste our time, right? If we can do it now and we can get feedback on it, we'll do it. All right, questions? So it's basically, it took longer, but what my goal here is to tell you the methodology. We'll do this methodology every week. So next week we'll do what, Brittany? Next week I'll do what? I'll go back and quickly, you can say, what have you changed, right? I've added a new screencasting program. We tried a new, from Skype, we tried a new one, right? I've gotten those and we can get feedback back and forth. Okay, how many people have access to Windows here? Raise their hand. Okay, a lot of people have access to Windows, okay? And we'll do a couple of things here that we'll do. Okay, that's one. Again, so let me get out of this. I've been in my audit area. Also, one of the things that I'm going to show you here is you have web links in your audit program. Everybody see your web links in your audit? If you're new, look at your neighbor, right? In the web links then, what is that for? What do I want that to be for your group? Why do I have web links here? Is when you find interesting articles or programs that you want to share with the class, I want you then to upload it into your section of web links. How do you do it? It's going to be easy. What? I'm going to go to build content. Look how you guys know this already, right? I'm going to go to build content, right? And then what would I do in order to get a web link? What do I choose? Web link. Wow, what a class, okay? All right, so hopefully the exam will be this easy. No. Okay, where is it? Web link. You're looking for a web link. Okay, so you have here the name, you have the URL, and then here the description of what I found. This is a great article that I found on, we have to learn about, for instance, blockchain or cryptocurrencies, or this is a way in which I'm forecasting a number of processes. And who are my, we were talking last time, right, about my healthcare, who was with my physical therapy, right? Right, we were talking about that P-toy, right, of that blockchain technology that's coming about, and we'll look at that. So next week, we will do then the assignments. Let me go back. My assignments, I'm going to go to my KX. My assignments are done, and so I have 3 chapters. Some of you have done those already, but I want by the beginning of next class is these 3 chapters. Chapter 1, TG1, which is the tech guide talking about hardware, and security. The security will have the Chief Information Security Officer of the University of Miami will be coming in the beginning of the session. Just to give an overview, I'll be moderating to ask her questions, but I think that's why I'm going to chapter 4, so you have what's available in security. If I go to the PowerPoints, you know where the PowerPoints are, right? If I go into the PowerPoints, you have here PowerPoints based on chapter 1. And if you read it, was pretty simple. As I mentioned before, I don't need to go through. I find you mature enough to figure out how to read and go through the PowerPoints, and the only thing that I want to be able to do is make sure that I emphasize what I think is important, and also what is going to be new, what's changing. And you can read these on your own. This is trying to convince you why you should study information systems. Most of you are doing it because it's required for your major, right? But I'm trying to show you on basically doing some projects to be able to see the importance of using this information systems and why we need to manage it and the personnel. And basically, they used to call this MIS. Anybody know what MIS stands for?
Managing information systems.
Managing information systems. And they traditionally used to call the function of the MIS department, it was anti-agile development. Anti. So what does that mean? You had a bunch of people standing around. I shouldn't say standing around. You see my bias. You had people basically helping people, and if they were internally trying to help with organizations to develop programs, it would be not agile, but it would be 6 months, it'd be a year before you got anything done. And maybe 10, 15 years ago, that was okay. And then it was, there was nothing on mobile, right? Nothing on mobile devices, and it was very stagnant. So basically, the whole idea of the changing role of the MIS department is basically working with the end user to get them to be productive. And everything's going into a mobile device. Everybody is going to be a remote user. I'm not going to have somebody that's just going to be in their office. People aren't working 40 hours a week from 9 to 5, but what? It's basically 7 days a week, 24/7, and it's when you're on vacation you may be working, and and there may be times I can be anywhere in the world working. And what's the whole idea is get the job done and get the job where I can complete it to be more competitive. So this is the way in which MIS is changing quite a bit in this case. And they're talking about the traditional ones. I don't even want to bother with this too much, but it's a way in which the new way versus the old way. The old way, they used to have a training center to teach people Excel or to teach people Word, or they had a training center to teach people on a certain software. And now it's the idea, I got to manage outsourcing. I have to manage what? Is all my data on premise for the IT? What do you think? What is your name again? Andrea. In a new environment, it's a lot of it's on the cloud, right? So it's basically deciding I may be looking at Amazon have you heard of Amazon and AWS?
Like, no.
No, okay, so if you haven't, let's do this. Let's do, type in, everybody with me, here. AWS, and it says what? Amazon Web Services. Who's heard of Amazon Web Services? What have you heard?
Oh, never mind, I've used the survey.
Okay. So put this in your notes here. Everybody's heard of Amazon, right? Their most profitable division in Amazon is what? You think they're e-commerce selling?
Not selling other people's, like.
Is this. This service, AWS, is their most profitable product. And look at this, it almost sounds agile. Broad and deep platform, AWS has more than 90 services. Customer success, explore how millions of active customers every month are innovating. Pace of innovation. AWS cloud platform expands daily. What does that mean, cloud platform? What is a cloud platform? And what do you think, and when you say, is that acceptable here? So let's go. What's a cloud platform? I should see people, fingers moving. What's a cloud platform? What is your name?
Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Just like
What does it say? You find something
a
in the cloud?
suite of cloud computing services that runs on the same infrastructure. that run on the same infrastructure. I don't know what the hell.
I don't know what the hell that means either. Okay, so let's figure it out. So what does that mean? So let's think about something that you know. You have email?
Yeah,
What email are you using? What product?
just Miami email.
Just Miami email, okay? You have just Miami email. And what product is from Miami email using? Outlook. The product that Miami is using, in the previous years, Miami had some computers, large computers. They stored it in a building, and they had what they called an Exchange server, a Microsoft Exchange server. What did that mean? It was a piece of hardware residing at this institution, and everybody that had their emails would then, if your laptops or your phones, you would then communicate with whom? You would communicate with that server residing here. So what did that entail? The traditional IT environment would entail that I have to hire people to take care of that mail exchange server. When there were updates to that, what did they have to do? They had to give the updates to all my end users, change the updates, and they also had to update on their hardware in an environment. Everybody with me? I have it, and that was called on-premises. It was a piece of hardware or a number of different computers that then broadcasted, that other people then could gain access to that server and use the software. And then your email then would be stored where, Benjamin? On those computers within, let's say, this institution. That's how it was. And a few years ago, Outlook says we're going to the cloud. Microsoft, who owns Outlook, is Microsoft, said we're going to the cloud. And what does the cloud really mean? It's still hardware, and there are a bunch of servers, and you can see these. You can see, even if you look, you can see like server farms where if it's really large, like Google or something like that, they have full warehouses with a number of computers there, you know, dealing with the heat and everything, and then they would be just getting it. But on the cloud, it means it's an infrastructure that it resides somewhere other than your location. So put that down. It resides somewhere other than your location. And you as an end user gain access to it via what? Via the internet, via browser. So the disadvantage to that is that when my internet is down, I don't have service. But most of the time it's very fast. And what's the efficiency there? The efficiency is that I don't have to have as many people on my site to handle it. And I have someone like Amazon or Google or Microsoft handle it. And when there are updates, what happens? They update it, and I'm on most. And then when you think about patches, have you heard about all those problems with security, everybody getting broken into? You heard about Equifax and other people, that there are all these hackers. One of the problems is they said, we didn't update our software. They knew about it in January. In June, my whole executive team sold all their stock. It was publicly traded. And then they told the public, right after they sold their stock, then they told the public, guess what? We got hacked. And 180 million records were hacked. And those guys, I guess, are in the Bahamas. I don't know if anyone's going to the jail now. But they sold their stock, right? There's no problem. There's no ethical problems there, right? They sold their stock and then told us. We had no purpose. So what Amazon does, and it's elastic, it's by demand. So who are my entrepreneurs? Wow, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I'm starting as an entrepreneur, I usually start small, right? I don't have a lot of customers. So what I'm going to do is, a lot of times you want to hire an IT staff. You can't even get paid yourself, right? Let alone hire an IT staff. So what are you going to look for? Look for a cloud solution. Have my IT staff be an Amazon or be a Google or be a Microsoft, most of it. And then just have one person then communicate. And also what's the availability is that I can grow. It can be elastic. When I have, let's say, during Christmas period, when I have high demand, I can get more servers and get more computing power. And when it's a slow season, I can, shrink? Or basically, I pay by the service. I pay how often I use it. So you can see here, you'll see all these services. Does this start making say that when I want to have a database, or when I want to have a storage, or when I want to compute healthcare? Who are my healthcare people, right? In my genome. Anybody hear about personalized medicine? Let's talk about psychiatric mental illness, right? The idea is when you go to a psychiatrist and you have some mental illness, sometimes what they do, if you're bipolar or schizophrenic, how do they give you medication? It's almost by trial and error. Take this, or you've got depression, take a little bit of this. But if I do a genome project, what I can do is I can map out all your genes and see, they find out, for instance, schizophrenia and bipolar are they're highly genetic. If I find those out and I find those genes that you are more susceptible, and for instance, maybe you have inflammation, and for instance, we do a study and you've had some abuse or PTSD, then we can match up our ways. In order to do that, what do I need? I need large computers. I need high processing. So what they've done in the past, for instance, they've taken all your computers, and instead of each of you working on a separate task, you all work on one task together. And that's like cluster computing. They can do that. So that is part of AWS. Google has the same thing. Okay? So if I'm looking at these, then that PowerPoint, then the new idea of the MIS department is they're going to be managing my resources rather than working on my individual software in my own environment. Think about the university. Anybody used Canelink before, right? We all use Canelink. in the past, what they did at the universities, they wrote their own software to do something like K-Link. What's the problem with that? You have to hire a whole bunch of programmers. They have to be up to date. They have to be efficient. And guess what? Is it easy to find? No. So what they did is they bought software. For instance, software called PeopleSoft. They bought some payroll and some finance called Workday. And where do you think it's stored? In the cloud. So it's going to be in the cloud, and basically you can go step by step on it. So this is the way you can look at this in terms of that MIS department, those functions. You can see that this is the way in which they're doing it. So you can go through that, know the difference between data, information, and knowledge, computer-based systems, and then we'll go over this, quite a bit of the components. We'll go over, you should be reading in your one, the hardware. We'll do the software, databases. We'll think about different ways now to do the database and the blockchain. We'll talk about networks, procedures, and people. And a lot of times this people is how are we going to work together in groups and collaborate. And that's what we'll focus in. And I'll also, let me see. And then there's the functional areas. The functional areas are almost like the departments in the School of Business: accounting, finance, production, marketing, human resources. And you can see that this is set up with the IT services, the components, the personnel, transactions, and then they're basically on top. I start to get what they call intelligent systems. What does it mean, intelligent systems? That in the dashboard, I get information. If I'm the CFO, I get different information than if you're head of marketing, right? You need to have different information, so it'll be presented to you in different ways. Okay, and then you can see here the rest. So you can read this. I'm not going to usually ask you about these case studies. You understand, they do a lot of cases, kind of like to bring them up. What's for me is more that you understand. They're trying to bring it up in terms of organization of what effect it is. Okay, and then you can see here on social collaboration and robotics, right? Then I'm going to be able, what's going to be really big in terms here is anybody use virtual reality, augmented reality? That whole area is going to be huge. The whole idea of wearables, sensors, that home automation, all my, what we call IoT, we'll go over that. The Internet of Things will be important as well. So those are areas in which you can do. So for next week, I want you to do what? Is go over, is to fix whatever you've done, added additional collaborative software, number one. What else? The 3 quizzes. Some of you only have 1 quiz left, right? Some of you have 3 in terms of chapter 1. And come to class with questions about some of those areas. And then,
So the way to make another video about the collaborative program, another one.
what did you use?
I used Zoom.
Zoom. You can try it. The Zoom is okay, but you now have another person in your group. So you may want to try out another one with your additional third person. Okay? And the other part in which what I want to do is those of you especially that have access to Windows, I want you to go to ninjatrader.com and download the software, the simulation software. So this is a broker, but we're going to be doing some predictive analysis next week, and I'd like you, it's in terms of software. And what I'd like you to do is get the free platform. Now this platform runs on your premise. What does that mean? It's not in the cloud. So what I'd like you to do is you receive unlimited free use, and what this then can create is simulated software that I'll give you a presentation next week that you can start creating your own strategies. And what this does, it has a built-in program generator that will write, some of you know like JavaScript, right? It writes its own scripting that's very similar to C#. Anyone have heard of C#? Anybody heard of Java? So it basically is similar to Java, and we'll be looking at that. So for next week, download the free platform, and we'll start start using our collaboration tools to do our project.
Should we do it on Mac?
If you do it on Mac, you need to have either a virtual machine, or you need to have something like Parallels or Boot Camp to be able to run it. It's easier if you use it on Windows, on a Windows machine, but you can use it as a virtual machine. So those of you that can, and then some of you, what we may be doing is we'll work in groups that will work together. Okay? Questions before we do it? So I wanted in this first class just kind of to get everybody up and running on it, and then we'll also cover next week. I'll also introduce you to the blockchain, and we'll talk about cryptocurrencies, and we'll look at it in different marketplaces. So we'll look at it in healthcare, in advertising, we'll look at it in finance, so we'll look at it in a number of different ways in which to use to see, and we'll look at it in terms of security to do it. Any questions? So we need to meet with the groups, yes.
So let's do next week, like next Monday.
Next Monday or what? Tell me. The quizzes?
Fix your collaboration.
And fix your collaboration.
2 quizzes?
There's 3.
3. There are 3 quizzes. Those of you that came in late have to kind of work it, yes.
You want us to download that too?
And I want you to download. Yeah, well, try to get Windows, right? And that's what I'm saying, get Windows on it. And download this, and when you download it, once you download it, then I'll go over a presentation with you next week. And download it, the best way to download it, I would download then, if you're doing it, is Ninja Trader 8. And you can, firewall. So it does not have a valid, so I'll be working on it at the time. Okay? So I'll work on it next week. So stay with me, the groups, that you need to put all your people in before you leave. Make sure all your new people are in your group. Add them as new users, because a lot of times we were having problems getting new users to add on. And stay with me. And hopefully we can go in a faster pace.
Have you used Thinkorswim?
Not in this class. I've played around with it. Have you used it?
Yeah.
And you like it?
I've actually really liked it.
Okay, so you
Alright, so we're good. All we have to do is change how we upload it. Or we can even do it like next Monday again before.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why I like it.
Just like part of it.
And what kind of coding, can you write your own strategy? So maybe we can do that where you can even
draft, yeah, we can get them drafted, I think we're still, because that would be for execution purposes or like creative backtesting pipeline.
Email me, show me the types of things.
Let's go.